Hi! Ako nga pala si Teacher Norman at isa akong mathematics teacher from Clarin High School, Ganda, Pampanga. And bakit ko nga ba naisip ang gumawa ng mga video lessons? Dahil pandemic ngayon is naisip ko na isang magandang way to para makatulong sa mga estudyante, lalong-lalo na sa mga batang gustong matuto pero hirap. So kung sa tingin mo isa ka sa mga ito is kindly like, subscribe, and click the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos natin. So let's go! Topic natin ngayon is all about congruent triangles. Specifically, SSS, SAS, ASA Congruence Postulate, and SAA or AAS Theorem. Paano nga ba natin malaman kung yung mga figures magkakalintulan sila? Ito yung definition niya. If all corresponding sides and angles are congruent. Mas malalaman pa natin yan sa ating example sa susunod na slide. Determine whether the sides or angles are corresponding sides, corresponding angles, or neither. So we have a given figure, dalawang triangles sa kabila which are triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Pakitignan yung mga markers na meron tayo sa mga sides at sa mga angles. Gagawin natin basihan yan at identical yung dalawa na yan. Number 1 is angle B and angle E. Kung makikita natin, we have angle B and angle E. Pareho yung pwesto, pareho yung markers na meron tayo. So sa tingin nyo ano siya? The answer is they are corresponding angles. Next, angle A and angle F. Kung makikita natin is we have angle A and angle F. Hindi sila pareho ng pwesto, hindi pareho ng markers. So ang answer natin is it's neither. Number 3 is angle C and angle F. Tingnan natin sa ating figure. Angle C and angle F. Parehong pwesto, parehong markers. So ang answer natin, corresponding angles. Number 4 is line segment AC and line segment DE. Kung titignan natin sa ating figure, line segment AC and line segment DE. Hindi pareho ng pwesto, hindi pareho ng bilang ng markers. So ang answer natin is neither. Number 5 is line segment AB and line segment DE. Line segment AB and line segment DE. Pareho ng pwesto, pareho ng markers. So ang answer natin is they are corresponding sides. Number 6 is line segment BC and line segment EF. Line segment BC and line segment EF. Pareho ng pwesto, pareho ng bilang ng markers. So they are corresponding sides. So patikim pa lang yan sa ating i-discuss today about congruent triangles. So makinig na mabuti at tignan kung paano yung step-by-step procedure natin. Tignan natin kung ano ba yung mga dapat nating malaman sa topic natin ngayong araw na to. So unang-una is SSS Congruence Postulate, SAS Congruence Postulate, ASA Congruence Postulate, AAS or SAA Congruence Theorem, and lastly, perpendicular bisector theorem. Unang-una is SSS Congruence Postulate. Alam ko yung iniisip nyo, ibang SSS yan. So, ang meaning ng SSS dito is side, side, side. Ang definition niya is if the three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Ang example natin is we have two triangles. We have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Ang sabi dito, if line segment AB and line segment DE are congruent and line segment BC and line segment EF are congruent, also line segment AC and line segment DF are congruent with each other, lahat ng yan, side yan. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle ABC and triangle DEF are congruent by SSS Congruence Postulate. Inuulit ko, side, side, side. Tatlong side ang involved. So it is all about SSS Congruence Postulate. So let's move on to SAS Congruence Postulate or side angle side. The definition is if two sides and an included angle of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Tignan natin. Pag-usapan natin si included angle. So we have a given triangle which is triangle JKL. Ang sabi niya rito is the angle between two sides of a triangle. Ito yung example natin. Angle J is the included angle between side JK or line segment JK and line segment JL. Angle J, line segment JK and JL. Kung mapapansin natin, si angle J yung included angle natin sa pagitan ng dalawang line segment. Tingnan natin ha. Line segment JK and line segment JL. Ano yung common nilang letter? So we have J. So ibig sabihin, simplihan lang natin. Kung ano yung common na letter ng dalawang line segment, siya yung included angle nila. Angle J is the included angle between line segment JK and line segment JL. JK, JL. Angle J. Next, angle K is the included angle between line segment KJ and line segment KL. Angle K, line segment KJ and line segment KL. Common letter K. And lastly, angle L is the included angle between line segment LJ and line segment LK. Angle L, line segment LJ and line segment LK. Common letter nila is L. So, ganun lang kasimple. Tandaan lang natin mabuti. Included angle sa pagitan ng dalawang sides. Balikan natin si SAS Congruence Postulate or Side Angle Side Congruence Postulate. We have two triangles. We have ABC and DEF. Ang sabi dito, if line segment AB is congruent to line segment DE and angle B is congruent to angle E, and lastly, line segment BC is congruent to line segment EF. Tingnan natin. AB is congruent to DE. Angle B is congruent to angle E. Line segment BC is congruent to line segment EF. So, side, included angle, side. Yung dalawang included angle natin si angle B and angle E. Kung makikita natin, ayan yung dalawang side. Ito yung included angle natin. Nasa pagitan ng dalawang side yung angle natin. At siya yung included angle. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle ABC and triangle DF are congruent by the SAS Congruence Postulate. Next one is the ASA Congruence Postulate. ASA. Let's move. Okay. ASA or angle side angle. The definition is, if two angles and an included side. This time, it is all about included side. Kanina, included angle ang pinag-usapan natin. Ngayon naman is included side. Included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding two angles and the included side of another triangle. Then, the triangles are congruent. Pag-usapan natin si included side. Ang sabi dito is the common side to two angles of a triangle. We have a given triangle which is JKL. Tingnan natin. Line segment JL is the included side between angle J and angle L. Simplihan natin. Line segment JL is the included side between the angles J and L. Dalawang angle, nasa gitna niya is yung included side. Simplihan natin. Line segment JL, angle J, angle L. Ulitin ko. Line segment JL, angle J, angle L. Next, line segment KL is the included side between angle K and angle L. Alam ko na kukuha nyo na to. Lastly, line segment KJ is the included side between angle K and angle J. KJ, angle K, angle J. Next, balikan natin si ASA Congruence Postulate. So we have two triangles again, triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Ang sabi dito, if angle B is congruent to angle E, line segment BA is congruent to line segment ED, and angle A is congruent to angle D. Ulitin ko, angle, included side, angle. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle ABC and triangle DF are congruent by ASA Congruence Postulate. Tingnan natin maayos ha. angle, angle, included side. Angle, angle, included side. Gets? Next. SAA or AAS Congruence Theorem. Side angle angle or angle angle side. Definition: if two angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding two angles and a non-included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Pag-usapan natin si non-included side. Ang sabi dito, can be either of the two sides that are not directly between the angles being used. Kabaliktaran lang din nga included side, si included side. Tignan natin. So we have a given triangle which is JKL. Line segment JL and line segment JK are the non-included side dahil ang included side natin ay si line segment KL. Kasi ang basihan natin, inuulit ko, si angle K and angle L. Ang included side lang nila is line segment KL. Dalawang side na natira, sila yung non-included side, which are line segment JL and line segment JK. So we have a given triangle again, which are triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Sabi dito, if line segment AC is congruent to line segment DF, sa kabilang triangle, angle B and angle E are congruent, angle A and angle D are also congruent. Tingnan natin. Basihan natin angle, angle A and angle B. Angle D and angle F. So, ang non-included side natin is pwedeng si line segment AC or si line segment CB. Sa kabila, line segment DE or line segment DF and line segment FE. Yun ang pwede nating basihan. Ang given natin is line segment AC and line segment DF. Ibig sabihin, yun yung non-included side natin. So, non-included side, side. Angle, angle. Then, we can conclude that triangle ABC and triangle DEF are congruent by SAA Congruence Theorem. Pag-usapan naman natin si perpendicular bisector theorem. And in definition niya, if a point lies on the perpendicular bisector of a segment, then the point is equidistant from the endpoints of a segment. Given triangle natin is JKL. If line segment JM is the perpendicular bisector of line segment KL, kung makikita nyo, parang nakabuo tayo ng kalahating cross. Ang perpendicular bisector natin dito is si line segment JM. At hinati niya si line segment KL. At nakabuo tayo ng dalawang line segment which are KM or line segment KM and line segment LM. Then, line segment KJ is congruent to line segment LJ. KJ, LJ. Parehong side. Angle JMK is congruent to angle JML. Kung nalilito kayo dito sa given natin ng angle kasi tatlong letra yan, mag-focus tayo sa gitna. And then gawin natin kasi yan yung dalawang naiwan na letters. Tingnan natin, angle JMK, JMK. So ito yung angle na yon. And then angle JML, JML, yung sa kabilang angle. Are congruent, then they are right angles. Bakit? Definition of perpendicular bisector. Both angles are 90 degrees. And line segment KM is congruent to line segment LM. KM, LM. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Si perpendicular bisector JM is hinati niya si line segment KL. At nakabuo siya ng dalawa, which are line segment KM and line segment LM. They are congruent. Hinati niya sa dalawa. And then lastly, we have line segment JM and line segment JM are congruent. Parehong letra. Bakit? Because kung makikita nyo, kapag hinati-hinati yan, makakabuo tayo ng dalawang triangles. Bakit sila congruent? Because it is the same line segment used in both triangles. So, ibig sabihin, they are congruent. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle JMK is congruent to triangle JML using the perpendicular bisector theorem. Mag-recall tayo sa mga na-discuss natin. So, unang-una, SSS Congruence Postulate, SAS Congruence Postulate, ASA Congruence Postulate, AAS or SAA Congruence Theorem, and Perpendicular Bisector Theorem. Alam ko na nagkaroon na kayo ng idea about these postulates and theorem. Bigyan pa natin ng kalinawan yan. Let's go! This time is, itatry natin kung may natutunan ba tayo sa mga i-discuss natin. So let's try! In the diagram, Tingnan natin maayos ha. Meron tayong dalawang triangles. We have triangle LEV and triangle LOV. So in the diagram, line segment LE is congruent to line segment LO. Pareho ng marker. Next. And line segment VE is congruent to line segment VO. Line segment LV is congruent to line segment LV. Katulad nung kanina, they are a line segment on both triangles. So, ibig sabihin, they are congruent. And by reflexive property, line segment LV is congruent to line segment LV. Then, we can conclude that triangle LEV is congruent to triangle LOV by, natin, side, side, side. So, SSS Congruence Postulate. So, we have a given line segment AD and line segment BE bisect each other. AD and BE bisect each other at point C. So, ibig sabihin, si AD is nahati siya. Ang midpoint natin is si C. Ganun din kay BE, nahati siya. Ang midpoint natin ay si C. And, ang sabi dito, line segment BA is congruent to line segment ED. Given yan. In the diagram, line segment BC is congruent to line segment EC. And line segment AC is congruent to line segment DC by the definition of segment bisector. Kasi nga, sabi kanina, si line segment AD and line segment BE bisect each other. So, nahati si AD ng AC at DC. Ganun din kay line segment BE. Nahati siya at nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang line segment which are BC or line segment BC and line segment EC, and they are congruent. Line segment BA is congruent to line segment ED, which is given. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle ACB is congruent to triangle DCE by the SSS Congruence Postulate. Again, side, side, side. Depende tayo on how we are going to prove dun sa given natin. So we have a given here which is line segment FE and line segment LE bisect each other again at U. But this time wala tayong given na si FL or line segment FL is congruent to line segment ET. Kanina meron, dito wala. So gagamit tayo ng ibang property. In the diagram, line segment FU is congruent to line segment EU and line segment LU is congruent to line segment TU. Kasi nga sabi kanina, line segment FE and line segment LT bisect each other. So, nahati na naman. So, it is by the definition of the segment bisector. And angle LUF. So, ito yan. Angle U is congruent to angle TUE. It is our included angle. Tignan natin ulit ha. Ito sa isang triangle FU and LU. Included angle is angle MUL. Sa kabila, line segment or side TU and line segment EU, our included angle is angle TUE or angle U. Included angle siya by vertical angle theorem. Angle FUL and angle EUT are congruent because of the vertical angle theorem. Then, we can conclude that triangle LUF is congruent to triangle TUE by the SAS Congruence Postulate. Side, included angle, and side. Wala naman tayong SSA, tama? So, titignan natin kung included side lang involved, SAS yan. So, in here, we have a given which are line segment ET is perpendicular to line segment EX. Also, line segment IC is perpendicular to line segment IX. Line segment ET, EX, IC, IX. And also, line segment EX is congruent to line segment IS. Dito, given to. In the diagram, angle E and angle I are right angles by the definition of perpendicularity. Tandaan nyo, when we are talking about perpendicularity, makakabuo tayo ng 90 degrees. Kasi nga, they are perpendicular with each other and that is the definition of perpendicularity. Therefore, angle E and angle I are congruent with each other. Bakit? Kasi they are 90 degrees or right angle. Also, line segment EX is congruent to line segment IX. They are the included side. Given yan. Angle EXT, so ito yung basya natin, is congruent to line segment IXC. Ito yung basya natin. Are congruent by VAT or vertical angle theorem. Vertical angles yung dalawang yan. Triangle EXT and triangle IXC are congruent by the ASA Congruence Postulate. Ito lang naman kasimple yan eh. Para malaman kung ASA or SAS, kapag may included angle, SAS. Kapag ASA, Congruence Postulate. We have a given which our line segment SR is congruent to line segment SE. Given yan. And RO is parallel to CK or line segment CK. Depende yan sa given natin kung paano natin i-prove yung given na figure. In the diagram, line segment SR is congruent to line segment SC. Given. Ang sabi dito, non-included side. Tingnan natin. Angle O and angle K are congruent. Why? Because of PAIC or the alternate interior angles are congruent. Ang dalawang yan, angle O and angle K, dahil sabi niya is line segment RO and line segment CK are parallel, magagamit natin yung alternate interior angle theorem. So therefore, angle O and angle K are congruent with each other. Next, we have angle OSR. Basayan natin si S. Angle S. And angle KSC are congruent. Why? Katulad kanina, they are vertical angles. So, by vertical angle theorem. Therefore, we can conclude that triangle ROS is congruent to triangle CKS by the SAA Congruence Theorem. Tingnan natin ha. Not-included side ba talaga yung given natin na side? Tingnan natin. Angle O and angle OSR. O and S. Dapat ang included side natin dyan is line segment OS. But yung given natin is line segment SR. So ibig sabihin, non-included side siya. Sa kabila naman is ang given natin is angle K and angle KSC. K and angle S. Dapat ang included side natin dyan is side or line segment KS. Pero ang given natin is line segment SC. So ibig sabihin, non-included side siya. Kapag non-included side yung given natin, it is all about SAA or SAS Congruence Theorem. Try nyo naman mag-answer this time. Same figure yung given natin, but ang sabi dito, how can we prove that these triangles are congruent by ASA Congruence Postulate? Kanina, pinrove natin siya. Meron tayong given at depende sa given kung paano natin i-prove yung given na figure. And ang nakuha natin is the triangles are congruent by SAA Congruence Postulate. This time, kailangan nyo siyang i-prove by using ASA Congruence Postulate. Ito yung given natin. And dito natin malalaman kung naiintindihan nyo ba talaga yung mga tinuro ko sa inyo. So sana, kahit paano nalinawan kayo ng kaunti. Kung medyo hirap kayo, nyo balikan yung mga slides na didiscuss natin. So sana is nag-enjoy kayo ngayon and may natutunan kayo at the same time. Maraming salamat sa inyo at nag-stay kayo dito. And inuulit ko, sana nag-enjoy kayo while learning. Huwag nyo makakalimutan mag-like, subscribe, and again, click the notification bell button para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos natin. Mag-upload na naman ako ng video para sa ating next video lesson. Sana i-support na natin to sa simpleng panonood ng ating videos at alam ko na makakatulong sa inyo to. See you again in our next video lesson and goodbye and God bless us all.